Oh, this is Lana. This is Galactic Civilizations Supernova version 1.7. Um, you may notice my voice sounds a little different. I'm not feeling the greatest today, so just FYI. But I did want to play this update. I started actually like 5 other games with the Luxor Dominion and recorded them, and then they made changes that obsolete a lot of the stuff. So a lot of good changes, but I got a 3-part series up that with a lot of explanation and everything when I thought it was safe, and then they changed the following day. So I just stopped that one and started a new series here. But anyways, I might do the phalanoids today. But before I get into it, I'm gonna actually start with a little bit of an explanation of how the how to kind of use some of the cheat tools to kind of figure out how to get a game map that you like. Because there's actually a lot of confusion on some of the stuff here. So there's a few settings. The first and most important, or the biggest confusion, is how distant works. Because a lot of players just expect it to push everyone out and they'll be by themselves, and that's not exactly right. And then there's close, which actually works kind of the way that people are expected for distant. But I'll show these kind of differences off here, and then I'll do a little thing on how to pick how many AIs you want to do. And then I always do others in sector, but I might do far. Far basically tries to evenly spread out all the AIs and give them their own sector within reason. And I'll get to that in a second. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do far. And I'm going to leave this at, I was kind of playing this year. I'm going to leave it at 10 players. So what far will do is it's spreads out the AIs, but the key is if you want everyone to have their own sector, you want to make sure you don't have too many AIs on the map. So you got FOWNC is the cheat command that I'm going to use here just to show this off here. This makes the fog of war visible. And then if I go in here and do fast unlock, you see the sector lines. So right now, if I click on each sector, you can look at the balance power and see how many AIs are in each one. I have 2 in here. I'll get to that in a second. And 2 over here. Okay, so why did 2 of them not, why don't they get a sector themselves? Well, there's a limit based on galaxy size and the number of sectors of how many sectors that appear. So obviously, if I have 10 AIs, including myself, which is 11, and we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that leaves 2 players, and it's not just the human player. 2 players are going to be sharing a sector with someone else. Now, if you set this to 20, you're still dividing up with this same number of sectors here. So it'll be 20 AIs in that, and the odds of you ending in a sector with a lot of computer opponents is very high. So when you're playing with FAR, if you want to have everyone by themselves, you need to maybe go in here and count the number of sectors. Generate the map how you like, count the number of sectors, and then reduce the number of AIs accordingly. So that is far here. So I'm going to go back to the main menu here. And now I'm going to show off distant. So when people think distant, they actually mean, or a lot of players, when they play distant, they're expecting that all the AI is going to be pushed out of their starting sector. And this is not necessarily true. Okay, game is here. Okay, so this is what distant will do. We'll come back here. See these empty sectors? This is how distant works. It kind of puts space and it tries to, it's kind of good for like a map if you want to work your way into. It's like on some of the civilization games where they have like the old world, like which simulates like England and France, all of them, where it was really crowded, and then the new world. Not getting into the politics of that whole thing, but the new world, as far as how those games generate, they tend to be fairly colonized. And so that's kind of what distant does is it puts this empty space between the sectors and spaces them out. So if you want, some players will like to play games where it's just them and another AI. But there's actually a better map setting than that. Because distant tends to gather everyone into two sectors, where you have close. Now this one kind of threw me off. I didn't necessarily expect it, but I'd almost say the wording from close and distant should be flip flop. But you know, just as long as you know how this works. So close kind of works like others in sector. So we'll just zoom out here and we'll do fog of war, no contact. Okay, see, we have, just like distant, we have spaces. No, there'll be some sectors that have multiple AIs. But you'll get some empty sectors and you'll get some completed. Now, as far as in my testing here, these settings like distant and everything doesn't say how far in a sector an AI will appear. Like this, here's one AI here, and then here's another. They're on other sides of the sector. You'll have some like here, they're right next to each other. And at least in my testing, I've never seen it look like that it has any impact on where they are in the sector. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing here. And I might do others in sector, and I'm going to actually increase the number of AIs just a little bit here. So we know the count is 9. So 9, that'll be 17 AI players. If I can press the right button, start game. So if you do distant with 17, you're going to have 8 players in one sector and 10 players in the other, or some combination how you get to that number. But it'll be fairly crowded. Oh, I hit the wrong key. This is why you type the NC in. Because then otherwise all the AIs will stop by and say hi. All right, so if you look here, now they're all evenly dispersed out. So this is why I'm always playing on this setting here. Because then I get a trading partner. And I think it usually scales. Like if I don't have enough AIs for it, but I think for the most part it scales appropriately. But, I can get a trading partner, but have, still a pretty good size sector myself. Okay, so again, when you do this, you can come out. I am asking if they can change some of the wording here so it's not vague descriptions like several and many and few, and that instead of doing all that, just say how many sectors are there? How many AIs? There's some things in game setup probably could be optimized a little bit better as far as getting the correct information to the player. So, what you can do, so if you change any of these two sliders, it will reset this screen. So we just playing around, we know we have 9 sectors on this setup here. Let's say I want to do a medium game and several sectors. So I can go in here, just ignore this suggestion here and ignore this one down here too. I haven't looked at how that number is generated, but I wouldn't even do not play on the recommended settings. You'll not be happy. So finish generating this map here. Okay, and okay, so we have in this map I have 5 sectors with those settings here, and you can kind of get an idea here. So let's say I want to do probably 2 AIs in each sector. So we'll do 10, and then take 1 away, so we'll do 9. So I come up here, I generate. This is what go in here, and I set my total to 9. And then once I get a game that, using cheats, I can find a kind of map that kind of feels okay. Then I can go out, turn off the cheats, which I won't myself right now, but if contact and fast unlock. Okay, so then I just kind of click on these, 2 in there, 2 in there, 1 in there, 2 in there, and 2 in there. Well, I need 1 more AI, so, but I can back out of here. All right, so this will be the game that I'm actually going to play right now. So you can use that to kind of play around, find the sweet spot and everything. So just a quick recap. Close kind of it kind of works similar to others in sector. Kind of group them up a little bit, but put some empty sectors between each other for the most part. Sometimes they'll end up right next to each other, but there will be empty sectors on the map. This others in sector will spread everyone out, and you'll at least have 1 AI in there. The distant will put a lot of space between each sector, but if you have too many AIs, they're going to all pile into, a couple sectors, and it's going to feel extremely crowded. And then far tends to spread everyone out, give them their own sector, but again, try and make sure you have the count correct. Okay, but that's all I'm going to do for now. I'm going to take a quick break just to pick up my food and eat that real quick, and I'll be right back.